This video will cover the proposed profile for St. Peter Road using ODOT's Open Roads Designer training material. So the St. Peter Road centerline is the existing centerline which the survey crew has prepared for us in the BK002 design file. So we did not create a new design file for this centerline. We're going to go ahead and add our proposed profile to the existing alignment since we're not doing any relocation of St. Peter Road. So I'll go ahead and open that file. And with the file open, I'm going to zoom in on St. Peter Road. So I can see that the survey information's already been attached and my terrain model has been set as the actual terrain. I also have attached the center line of State Route 185. So I'm going to start by displaying the profile window for St. Peter Road. So if I select that element, from its pop-up menu, I can choose to open the profile model using that method. I can open a view window and then identify that view for the profile. Or I can also right-click in empty space, or I should say hold down the right mouse button in empty space, and choose the two views plan and profile option. It's asking me to select OK to create a dynamic profile, pick the plan element, and then click in the profile window. So St. Peter Road runs from the east to the west, but the profile is running across from left to right on the bottom. So this side of St. Peter Road is this side of the profile. So I'm going to tie into State Route 185 at the end and meet the proposed profile of State Route 185. I'm going to start by displaying an intersection point where St. Peter Road intersects State Route 185. So to do that, under the Profile Creation group, I'm going to pick the Profile Intersection Point command. So it's asking me to locate the element to show the intersection, so that would be St. Peter Road, and now locate the element which intersects, and that will be proposed State Route 185. So I can see a point popped into view in my profile window at the intersection of St. Peter Road with State Route 185. So I'll use that as the point that I'm going to tie into. So let's go ahead and put in the proposed profile for St. Peter Road using the information from ODOT's training material. So I'm looking at page 401-9 of ODOT's training guide, and that's giving me the information to put in the profile. Now in the previous exercise, I used the lines command to generate my profile. Instead of using that one and putting in individual lines first and then putting in curves second, I'm going to use the Profile Complex by PI command. And I'm going to use Civil AccuDraw to get started on that. So I'll open Civil AccuDraw and activate Civil AccuDraw. And I'm in the Station and Offset or Profile Offset mode. So I need to tab to the Offset field, letter O, and I can pick my reference element that I'm offsetting from. So I'm going to put in my first starting point at station 17 plus 00 with an offset of 0. So that locks in those values. I'll left click to accept that. Now my next point is going to be defined by a station and an elevation. So I'll change Civil AccuDraw to station and elevation mode. And this is at station 18 plus 25. And our elevation is 997.88. I'm going to go ahead and enter that. Now I should have paid attention to my tool settings window for two things. One, I don't have a feature definition defined. And the next thing is I can be entering vertical curves as I go. Well, since I'm just defining my first tangent line, I'm not going to need a vertical curve, but I do want to assign that feature definition. I could do that one of two ways. I could pick it in the feature definition right here, or in my feature definition toolbar, I can select the feature I want to use, and we're going to use our proposed alignment feature and make that active. So I'll go ahead now and accept that second point, and I'm going to enter the third point. So now that I've got a back tangent defined, I can enter a curve length with this one. So looking at ODOT's information, the curve length for this one will be 200 feet. So I'll tab to the curve length field and use a value of 200. And for my head value, I've got a station of 19 plus 70. and an elevation of 995.6026. I'll accept that. And now I'm going to go ahead and meet my existing 185. So I'm going to snap into this point and tie into that. And the curve that's going to be associated with this preceding PI is just a very short curve of 10 feet. So I'll change my curve length to 10 and snap to that point and accept that as my ending point, and then I'll right click out of the command. So the difference in using this command is I'm entering this as I go, both the tangents and the curves, and this is already complex together as a complex element. So when I select that from the pop-up menu, I can set that as the active profile. Now the other thing I want to do is check the name of this profile. I forgot to do that while I was entering that. So if I look at the properties, I can see the feature name is just a default 1. So I'm going to change this. This is the proposed grade line of center line of existing St. Peter Road. Accept that as the new name. So now I have my profile defined for St. Peter Road. So when I've got that complete, I'm just going to go ahead and save my settings and close the file. We'll check that back into ProjectWise when we're prompted. And that concludes this exercise.